I'm Jenny Sassman. I am a STEM teacher at TCHS Penix Bridge. I kind of do a lot of things there, but my main job is to go into 5 different programs where I introduce STEM and I marry it to the practical side, and I try to link up what students have learned at their setting schools versus what we can do with our hands-on at our school. And I also help a lot of teachers hesitant to go into anything digital in their second careers and help them out to connect to their students a little bit better. I can't wait to listen to your questions about the gender gap. Please ask.
The first question I would direct to specifically to Mrs. Schaefer and Jenny Sassman, but anyone would be welcome to chime in. What does STEM education look like in the K-12 education today? And when we talk about STEM education in schools, what exactly is going on?
I would like to argue that tech schools, I'm going to put a shameless plug in right here, so be warned, were STEM cool before STEM became a thing. I'm going to give you just one example that I'm most familiar with because I'm in our engine programs most frequently. At least 50% of my time is spent in our engine and HVAC programs. For example, if we have a customer car that comes in, we need to diagnose a problem. For our first year students, we might take a car and kind of maybe we'll take an air sensor out, maybe we'll take something that's with a computer. Students will have to go find the problem either with a scan tool or start the engine and identify the problem, collaborate. They'll have to look at digital resources like AllData and figure out what's going on. A lot of times students get frustrated, and that's a big part of STEM. It's about collaboration, cooperation, what you spoke about. And using more than one of the STEM. It's not teaching in a silo anymore with true 21st century education. It's really exciting because it's not a list of things to do. It's not a check-off box. STEM education now, especially in a tech school, it's like the whole day goes by and you don't even know that you're learning, and students don't even know that they're learning. And students come away with a sense of pride and without any kind of grade pressure. It's like we have a problem to solve and we're going to solve it together. So it's more collaboration and cooperation than competition. That said, I really enjoy when students go beyond and just say, you know what, we studied the engine, we talked about boring out cylinders, but what about the fuel-air ratio? How would this come into play? And that's where the STEM really gets to where it's supposed to go, where you might marry something that's a chemistry, the old chemistry with the fuel-air ratio versus physics, which is, the piston that needs to come off a crankshaft. So that's where it all comes together, and that's where it gets really exciting, and you can break all of those walls down and kind of go in any direction when you have your big problem to solve. So that's where 21st century education is going, and that's why STEM is here, and it's not going to be a fad.
What about the gender gap in certain STEM fields, and what can we do to encourage more women to work in STEM fields?
At TCHS, this is something that I address every single day. I am mostly in the D wing, which are our traditionally male-dominated programs. And in the last 2 years, I've been in charge of the STEM Girls Club at TCHS. We have pink safety goggles, and it says, you can't read this, but I can. It says #unstoppable. This is a symbol that I wear every single day to school to show that I am supportive, and I'm one of the women who is embedded in the traditionally male-dominated programs. We call them non-trad at our school, and we used to have 2 girls in auto service, and now we have 7. We are growing. I would like to think that I am influencing that. We take trips with just the STEM girls. We talk about what it's like to be the only girl like Jessa in HVAC. She likes to come to STEM girls and she just hang out. Sometimes she doesn't want to talk about anything specific, but just hanging out and talking about whatever's going on in her program and that sort of thing, and just having pink safety glasses. Sometimes we get called the pink posse, which I think is pretty cool. But it's something that needs to be addressed. It's out there. There's girls who don't go into computer science. We have only 3 in computer science, and that needs to change. It starts with you, parents. It starts with you saying, yes, you can, and keep encouraging your students to do that.
What are the most important skills needed to be successful in a STEM class at the high school for our students and our teachers?
Without a doubt, collaboration and cooperation. If you don't have those things and the curiosity to go out there and solve problems and be independent and motivated, you're lost. If the one thing that really gets me, and if a student comes up to me and says, Mrs. Sassman, what do I need to do to get an A? Nothing sets me off like that, because that is not showing that you are willing to be collaborative and cooperative. Both of our engineer, recently retired, congratulations. You probably cannot do what you do alone. You can't know everything, because engineering, every science, every technology field is so huge. You can't do it without getting any other kind of knowledge. I mean, Google will only take you so far. And if you can have someone think out loud with you, the possibilities are endless.
Well, I just had a question for the representative from the Technical College High School. You said there were 3 girls in the computer programming. That's 3 out of how many? What percentage is that?
I can't tell you the exact numbers. I know Mr. Fuchs has about 25 students in the morning and maybe 25 to 30 in the afternoon. It's not many. We wish to increase it. I'm going to talk to you as a parents. Find your child's passion, whatever it is, and your job is their job is to find it by introducing them to all different kinds of things, and then your job is to fan the flames. Does that help? That was a very specific question.
Yeah, it's a really low percentage, and I understand that it's dropping, so it's a concern of mine.
Yeah, we need to do something about that.
Yeah.
We need more pink safety goggles.
My question is this, made reference by several of you about where STEM comes alive is the interdisciplinary nature of the intersection of all various elements of STEM, and indeed that was the case in my career in life as someone who has worked through the STEM fields. My question, I suppose, is perhaps to the teachers, where do you see the light in the students really sort of catalyze? Where do they really get excited? At what point in their high school curriculum? And how, because of course, to get to that interdisciplinary intersection, there's a lot of foundational elements that need to go through, which is important in order to get there. How can we, as a district, move that sort of catalyst, that excitement down further into the lower levels of our school in our grade levels, I guess?
I'm going to give you a very specific example, and forgive me if this doesn't answer your very big question. I bought a 1991 Saab 900 convertible, and as a project car. Didn't have an alternator in it. Bought one on the internet, dropped it in, drove it home. The next week, school started. I drove it to school. There's all kinds of things wrong with it. The wiring needs done, the fuel, I figured out there was a stinky smell when we put it up on the lift, there's a fuel leak, and I just told our senior students, I said, fix it. What can we do to make this ready to pass inspection? And I've never seen them so focused, ever. They had a car to work on for a few days and just try to address it. I told them, I want the order written up. I want you to treat me as a customer like I don't know anything. I don't know everything. I don't have my ASC certificate. I just like to mess around with cars. And I said, I want you to treat me like I don't know anything. Just start from the bottom, draw me pictures. And I was really tough on them. And they did an outstanding job. They took the seat out of the back. They traced the fuel line. They didn't find a leak. And for about 4 days. And they looked online, they used YouTube videos, They called a shop. They did everything they could think of. It was that one thing. Fix it. Fix it. Again, that goes back to, as a teacher, I need to find their passion and fan the flames. That did it. That's what we need to do as educators and in all of our schools. We do not need check boxes anymore. We do not need, what do I need to do to get an A? We need more collaboration and cooperation across the board. The standardized testing, as an educator with this whole fanning the flame thing, they're going opposite directions. Standardized testing is all about check the box and move on to the next chapter. This is not about collaboration and cooperation at all. It is not about finding your passion and going after what you want. It's not about going to work. You know, what can I do to make the next airplane part? What toys and tools do I get to make the next airplane part? It's not about robotics and being so excited, like what can I do to take from my AP classes and put it into robotics? It's not about, you know, I don't even know I'm learning in the kitchen. And forensics class, there's everyone wants to go to that, and everyone is in tune and in the zone. So that's what we need to do.